2025 marks the 45th anniversary for Gunpla and coincidentally the 15-year anniversary of the real grade Gunpla line. There's been some massive highs and unfortunately as of recently a pretty low low. But to commemorate the anniversary, I want to take a look back at the first ever real grade that Bandai released, that being this, the real grade Rx-78-2. Be sure to like and subscribe and let's see if this kit holds up 15 years later. The concept of the real grade Gunpla is an interesting one. Like I said, Bandai introduced this line during Gundam's 30th year anniversary, and the real grades are supposed to combine aspects of all three of the other mainline Gunpla lines. The 1/44th scale of high grades, the inner frames of master grades, and the intricate details of perfect grades, all wrapped together into small, little 1/44th scale kits, like this guy. And to top it all off, real grades are supposed to resemble what these mecha might look like if they were built in the real world. And in fact, this kit and the 3.0 Master Grade variant I have are actually based on the same design. That being the 1:1 scale Gundam statue that was unveiled just the year prior in Shiokase Park? Shiokase. Let me know if I'm saying that right. Right out of the gate, here are all the runners that come in the box. There's a few more in here than you would typically get with a high grade, including one runner that has a very specific set of pieces on it that we'll be talking about during the build. Something that jumped out at me right away though was this manual. Look at all of this color. I know it may not seem like much, but even most master grades I feel like we get these days, you're lucky if you just get a nice color panel spread in the middle. This thing has color everywhere and it really just makes it feel so much more premium. I guess let's just see if the build holds up to that same premium feel. So I've only built one other real grade before, that being the Mark II that I'll mention later on in the video. So I'm used to working with some small parts, but I'm not sure why, but on this kit some of them just feel way small, like smaller than usual. Like, look at this. I almost mistook a nub for an actual piece that's supposed to go on the build. And it didn't help me that my hands were especially shaky today, so getting him put together was a definite hassle. And something that made it even more difficult was this, the advanced MS joint. So this was basically Bandai's way of putting an inner frame within a 1/44th scale kit at the time, and boy does it have some problems. I didn't realize when going through the build that there were actually pieces you had to remove from the joints to be used later on or just discarded. And back on the feet, I thought I was doing something wrong because I couldn't get the back of the foot plate on, and I had to go back and read through the manual. Turns out I was supposed to push out a couple of pieces, and I had no idea. I was so confused. And on top of that, the hip piece of the MS joint, I broke off a connector because the two pieces I had to remove wouldn't budge. Luckily I used some plastic cement to kind of put that back together and it wasn't that big of a deal. But then I was even more frustrated to learn that after you put on a few armor pieces, you just put the two MS pieces back together. Despite those issues, I will have to admit it's still pretty cool having a 1/44th scale kit and having a sort of pseudo inner frame where you're just kind of putting the armor pieces on top of the frame itself. It's still pretty cool, but let's just hope that this guy doesn't have a lot of the same problems that the 3.0 has, because that also has a lot of problems, unfortunately. So with this kit, you'll get the kind of standard Rx-72 accessories, that being the removable beam sabers, shield, and beam rifle, but on top of that, you're also getting this really nice bazooka, the core fighter, and a little Amuro Ray figure. And honestly, these little guys are some of my favorite parts about getting real grades and master grades especially. I've got a whole slew of them. And similar to the 3.0 that this thing shares the design to, the core fighter can actually be transformed and put inside the chest, but let's just say I'm a little scared to try that. We'll talk about that in the next section. I think it's good. Just putting together this section of the review, I am getting very, very definite flashbacks to the 3.0, which was just a grenade, and so I'm I'm a little worried about this guy. There are already pieces that were falling off when I was just trying to get it into some different poses. And his right arm or his left arm is already feeling kind of droopy. And I'm not sure if you can strengthen these up like you can with other joints, you know, just putting a little bit of, I guess it's like glue or paint on the joints to thicken them up. I'm not sure if you can do that with the MS. I hope so. If you guys know, please let me know down in the comments. But the couple of poses I was able to get with it did look pretty nice. Though I think I will definitely be leaving him in this kind of standard, just stock pose, because I do not want him flailing around everywhere. And something else I wasn't aware of, this guy only works with the action base 2. I don't have that. I've got other bases and some other like adapters I can use, and I did use to try to get him in some poses. But I wasn't aware that he could only be used with the action base 2, and so I can't really have him in anything too expressive or dynamic. And that's frustrating because I didn't even know. I know that there's different action bases, but I guess I'll have to look into these. Again, let me know in the comments which of these action bases are the best, because I'm not super familiar with them. I've just got some knockoff ones off Amazon. Now I've gone on record saying that this design for the Granddaddy Gundam might just be my favorite, and it does hold up here too. We've got some really awesome panel lining potential that I'll be doing in a separate video, as well as the stickers and weathering, so be sure to subscribe to see that when that comes out. The only thing I did here was a little bit of gold on the, I forget what they're called, but it's like the metallic, the magnet parts, the magnetized parts on the arms and on the knees. That's the only thing I did. But I do love the different tones that we get on here, the kind of darker whites, the two forms of blues, and you can't, I'm gonna try to move his arm. You can kind of see the two shades of red. There we go, the two shades of red underneath. It's not a lot, but it just helps add to the, oh God. It just helps add to the different details that this kit has, and really helps it stand out amongst the other high grade versions of the Rx-78-2. Like I said earlier, the only other real grade I built was the real grade Mark II Gundam right here. And it's kind of weird with that one. This was one of my first kits that I built, and honestly, it still feels so much more sturdier than the Rx-78-2. But one thing I did like that this kit didn't have that this guy did, he's kind of got, I don't even know where, he's kind of got that mesh tubing there in the back. And those were a pain in the butt to get cut out and used, so I'm really glad that this kit doesn't have it. But other than that, they built up pretty similarly, but they both look still really nice for their size. And size-wise, here it is, standing up against the Mark II, the Revive, and of course the Master Grade 3.0, hands not included. Even after building so many kits, it really is so amazing to see what can be crammed into a 1/44th scale model with these real grades. I've heard the term mini masterpieces get thrown around a lot, and honestly, I have to agree purely on the aesthetics front though, because the build on this guy might just be my least favorite I've ever built, period. I don't know what it was about it, just these small parts, the flimsiness, the way this MS joint like worked versus the Mark II, it was a lot different in my opinion. And it was just a pain to put together. Like, I really cannot emphasize enough how much I disliked putting this kit together. And it's a real shame now, because that means both this and the 3.0 are among my least favorite kits, purely because of the build and the parts, whereas the design, they're like the top of the top for me. So they kind of get squished in the middle somewhere, but it's frustrating. And I know there's a lot of praise for the 2.0, so I might have to check that one out. You guys have to let me know down in the comments if that one's any good. But this is my first review, and you can't do a review without giving it a rating of some sort. So the design is really good, the build is really bad. Let's stick it right in the middle. 3 out of 5 Zegox. I don't know, something. 3. It's a 3 out of 5. I'm so torn on this kid. With that being said, I am wanting to get some more real grades this year, hopefully ones after they started getting rid of the advanced MS joint, because I've heard that those are supposed to be really amazing. So if you guys have any recommendations, please let me know. what your favorite real grades are, because I'd love to try them out this year. Or if you have a better idea on my rating system, let me know on that one too. First one, like I said, so we're still trying to get that one figured out. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys had an amazing holiday. I'm hoping to get some more videos out in 2025. I've got some big things planned, and I've already got a couple more videos lined up and getting ready into production. So I'm hoping to keep the train rolling. Hope you guys enjoy and would love to have you along. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Peace.